Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Harley Quinn build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. What's nice about this is a lot of the stuff is in the base game already, and there's just a couple mods that'll be used in this video. Now, I really did try to get this Joker Astarion mod to work, but it actually came out in 2022 before Baldur's Gate 3 even came out. It was an early access mod. I am using the Hairtrix K-pop Huntrix inspired hair pack mod by Pose Libre here, but there are some other alternatives I'll cover. And for faces, I'm using the Sculptor's Dream Cache. So I'm using the Charlotte face from Sculptor's Dream Cache there. But another thing that's nice is you can use the Bangs Everywhere and Kay's hair extensions mod to pretty much recreate this hairstyle here yourself. But I'm using that mod that I previously mentioned there. So those are two great options as well. I went with the makeup number 10 from the base game here just to complement what we got from the clown makeup, which is something you can get in Act 3 or by using different mods. And the class combination I'll be going with is the Fighter, the Sword Bard, and the Swashbuckler Rogue for the kind of dirty tricks kind of fighting style. Now, I was highly debating going with an intelligence-based class, but that just leaves us the Wizard because Harley Quinn is a doctor. She is very smart. But the bards also go to college for swords and stabbing. It just makes perfect sense. So I went with that there. And the Fighter because she is quite scrappy as well. And we'll start Fighter because that also gives us Constitution saving throw proficiency. As for our fighting style, we can actually go with 2-weapon fighting, and you can use 2 Warhammers. That's kind of funny, because if we take the dual wielder feat, and since the fighter is going... Since we only get like 2 feats here, one of them can be the dual wielder feat, which gives us the access to do 2 hammers, and if you're using the cheater spell mod, you can summon in the hammers at the very start of the game, and you do need the clown makeup, or else you'll drive yourself mad by using those, so yeah, it actually kind of works together in the end. So 2-weapon fighting if you want to be a bit more offensive, or defense, just to increase overall armor class. Now, for ability scores, I think a stat spread of this works well. So 16 dexterity just makes sense. She's going to be a dexterous fighter. Even though we're going to be using the hammers, I guess you could use a strength potion to overcome that. Or there is also the gauntlets that you could throw on to overcome the strength. But she's going to makes sense to use dexterity. Unfortunately, hammers just are a strength-based weapon, but you can use a strength potion. But if you don't want to do that, you can spec out a dexterity and put those points into strength. We're going to go with 14 constitution. I like to have the intelligence high because she is smart. And also then 16 charisma there. Charisma being for the Sword Bard as well for the Swashbuckler. Their abilities are based off dexterity and charisma. And fighter level 2 is where we're going to end off with the fighter because we just have to have the level spread for the other subclasses. So now I'd recommend adding in the Bard here. And this gives us the option of getting a mage hand there to kind of help out with utility. You can throw healing potions or water bottles. And then also vicious mockery is nice because there is items that let us do that as a bonus action, and it makes a lot of sense for Harley Quinn to be tossing out insults like that. That's kind of why I leaned into the Bard instead of the Wizard, which I was originally intending for, and the Blade Singing Wizard, but I just couldn't figure out a way to make it make sense. As for the spells we'll be using here, Thunderwave, just I guess it's a good one to have for coverage. Dissonant Whisper makes sense here. Healing Word. I guess putting someone to sleep would kind of make sense. Kind of tricky. I don't know. I think it makes sense here, so I'm going to put that on there. It's not a spell you use often, but early on you can put 3 goblins to sleep, so that's worth something. Level 2 gives us the Jack of all trades and Song of Rest, so free short rest and adding a proficiency bonus to things that we're not proficient in. Half of it, I should say. So 2 points later on in the game. I guess Longstrider's nice. Make everyone pick up the pace. At level 3 here, we're going to be taking our College of Swords subclass. This gives us the Slashing Flourish, which is extremely powerful. And then if you have any gun mods or shotguns and stuff like that, you can use the shotgun and the slashing range flourish in particular to attack 2 targets at once. The shotgun mod actually works very well here. And at this point, I guess we can go with the 2-weapon fighting now. So if you want to go with the dual hammers, we're going to add a proficiency bonus there. And at level 3 Bard, I like to take hold person. Getting free crits off on an enemy is really nice, and it just makes sense for her to have restraining abilities there. So we're going to go with that. At level 4, we got another cantrip, I guess Friends, because she can trick people. And then Clouded Daggers, I think, just makes sense for this, or Heat Metal. Either of these are kind of feel like tricky attacks, so we'll go with that. And for our next feat, I just like the dual wielder feat on this build in particular. You can go with an ability score increase on like your dexterity or your charisma if you wanted to, or the alert feat. But I like the dual wielder. We're not going to get another feat till we hit level 12, unfortunately. So, yeah. At level 5 here, we get our Bardic Inspiration back at short rest and a 1d8 increase now whenever we motivate our teammates. And I think Glyph of Warding is a decent spell. You can put like a sleep bomb on the ground. I guess that kind of makes sense. And then also you have elemental kind of bombs. So those work well. You also have the Fear spell, which I think makes sense on this. And Plant Growth, because I guess Poison Ivy tag team there. So I guess that's something else you could throw on this. But we only have 1 more level in the Bard because now we got our extra attack and we have Action Surge. So we're actually now useful in combat. And the funny thing is we can actually use a hammer because we got proficiencies in weapons from the Fighter. Now at level 6 here, we get, again, we can go with Fear or Plant Growth, depending if you want the Poison Ivy team up. I actually did a build on Poison Ivy a while ago, like a year and a half ago too, so you can check that out if you're curious. At level 7 here, we're not going to stick with a Bard. We're going to go into the Rogue now. This gives us choice in skill proficiencies. Persuasion is a really nice one to have because you're persuasive, and then we can also take a proficiency in like athletics there. So we'll roll with that. Into level 2 of the Rogue, we get our bonus action abilities, so those are great for just extra mobility. At level 3, Arcane Trickster I considered on here, but I feel like Swashbuckler just kind of fits the vibe. Like we're smart from the Bard, we got the Fighter being kind of scrappy, and the Swashbuckler just ties it all together. So you get the fancy footwork there, so that gives it so that you can't get hit with opportunity attacks, and the Rakish Audacity, getting +2 to your Audacity, or your Initiative, allowing us to go first in combat, which is something we really want. And we got the Dirty Trick Flick of the Wrist. This uses our main hand weapon damage, but it is a little bit tricky. So the Flick of the Wrist there, we also got our Vicious Mockery bonus action, so we don't have to use the Band of Scoundrel. We can use this version instead. And the Sand Toss here, which is a Dexterity base. These two are Charisma based. This one's Dexterity based. You can throw sand at them, possibly blind them. And then we get our final feat here. So Alert, we do have a good boost to our initiative, so we don't really need it, but it could be nice to guarantee you do go first, especially against fights like Cazador later on in the game. We could also add in the Sharpshooter, oddly enough, if you wanted to, and then I guess take the Archery feat from the Fighter. And if you wanted to use the Shotgun for this. And Savage Attacker just makes sense too to boost up our overall damage, but I think Dexterity increases are going to be nice on this, just giving us more armor class. I don't think Heavy Armor makes sense. We're going to go with Light Armor. All right, so for equipment, we got a lot of really good options here. So again, I got the Evelyn's Sweetheart Shotgun mod there, which is available on console. It's been on console for a while now. What's cool is if you have the flashlight on, you'll just hold the shotgun out everywhere, which is pretty menacing. But again, we also have the Clown Hammer there, which works perfectly. So no matter what weapon you have toggled on there, you're going to look pretty cool while holding it. Now, I have this clothing mod. This is from the Basket Full of Equipment mod, but I do know that Fear Taylor's Camp Clothing also has something similar. There's also the Avernus Seductress bodysuit there. This is a new mod that just got added on last week there, so this could be something you could potentially put on as well. And I guess the Elf Top Shorts is the outfit that I'm wearing there currently, so this one works well. And then have the Gloves of Belligerent Skies dyed black and red from the Faerun Colors. The Archfiend dye, in particular from Faerun Colors, is on both the outfit and the gloves there. And also the Tactical Stockings from the Femme Fatale Tactical Dress. So that's kind of the combination of outfit that I got going on. Clown makeup there, and then again, the Clown Hammer and Shotgun. All right, now, so for real base game equipment, we got the Birthright Hat. We need more charisma, so this is a good way to get it. However, you can forego that if you want, and the actual better combat option is the Helmet of Arcane Acuity. This is just good. Even though we don't have very many crowd control spells, this will impact our like Vicious Mockery there, and also being able to land a hold person is pretty nice. So I guess that's a good option. If you have someone else in your team using it, though, the Birthright Hat is great, or even the you could throw on the Helm of Baldur if you're in the late game, just to prevent yourself from getting hit with crits, making you very much more survivable. Now I have the Deathstalker Mantle. Dirge just makes a lot of sense here, but we could also throw on any really cloak. There's no real perfect one, but the Cloak Protection is a good other option. Now I have the Armor of Agility, also with the Fiend Armor, or the Archfiend Faerun Colors Armor. I think that looks really nice. I was just trying to find something that looked thematic, but this gives us a pretty good armor class of 24 there while dual wielding, so we're pretty hard to hit. You could also go with Alfira's outfit. Actually, funny enough, it looks perfect kind of for if you were to use it. And then you could use like the Asmodeus dye from Faerun Colors to give it that appearance. But if you want to go with light armor, you could, or clothing, you could go with the Vest of Soul Rejuvenation, then have someone cast Mage Armor on you for a little bit boost of an armor class. Even something like the Hellisk Armor, I guess, if you really wanted to. I'm just going to stick with the Armor of Agility, giving us a good boost to overall saves. And then also the Helldust Gloves, adding fire damage and onto our attacks. It's pretty effective. Early game, you can use the Gloves of Dexterity to make up, if you wanted to build around strength, and put points in Dexterity for your initiative. And since Harley Quinn is quite agile, you can also use the Gloves of Surging Accuracy. Whenever you use Action Surge, you get a bonus to your attack rolls, so that can be pretty decent, especially if you got like a Bloodlust Potion going. I think a Bloodlust Potion makes sense here if you're not using a Strength Potion. And even the Dark Justice, the Air Gauntlets can make sense to give yourself necrotic damage on your attacks, but the hammers are pretty fun. And also boots the Stormy Clamor to apply reverberation, knocking enemies prone. And also with this, whenever the enemy lands attack lands a critical hit, you can make them, if the enemy does not succeed on a wisdom saving throw, they'll get hit with a fit of laughter. We're immune to that laughter because we have the face paint on. So pretty nice. You don't really need two of them, and you can use any type of hammer at all in the game because there's a lot of different war hammers, and if you get the dual wielder feat, you can dual wield them. It looks funny. It's not optimal, but it's fun. And then again, we have the shotgun there. But if you don't want to use that, you could use the Hellrider longbow just to guarantee we do go first. And again, you could use Orin's dagger as well as a weapon because we aren't able to do the flick of the wrist unless you have a proper weapon. I don't know why it's giving me the option to do flick of the wrist. It might be the shotgun in the offhand, but I should not be able to do the flick of the, yeah, it's the shotgun. So yeah, if you're using the shotgun mod, you can use the flick of the wrist with your shotgun for whatever reason, but you can't use it normally if you're not, because it's not finesse-based weapons. So I guess the shotgun is considered finesse. So that works well, since we're going to use, if you're using mods, that can be kind of funny. Otherwise, you would have to use like Orin's dagger to actually be doing the flick of the wrist and sneak attacks, but yeah, we can do it either way. So now I've already covered Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, so if there's any other characters you'd like to see, just let me know in the comments. And playing as a high half-elf would actually be a good idea too for the ability to get Booming Blade, but when we get into combat here, I guess we kind of play like a fighter, but we do have things like the Slashing Flourishes which are good. I mentioned Sharpshooter is a decent enough feat on here because of our high damage output, so you could go with something like that. We don't have very many spell slots, only to level 3, so we can do Hold Person on 2 targets here. But Slashing Flourishes are a pretty nice way to get some extra damage in, so you can go around and do those. And we got lucky with 2 of them being in the area here, so boom, that took out the mage we wanted to take out. With the Deathstalker Mantle, we just turned invisible. We got those hammers out in the shotgun. Then we can go with an attack that we have advantage with. With the Rakish sneak attack, we can just go ahead there. We have advantage on that target. Actually, want to do a sneak attack on this target here, so boom. Somehow attack them. I think it's the shotgun actually wasn't enough to do that much damage, but that's okay. We can then do a trick of the flick of the wrist here to potentially take them out, hitting them with the butt of our gun there. We can roll Executioner on that, which is kind of funny. I'm not going to roll it, but we dropped his weapon, which is perfect because then we can go yoink, that's mine, thank you, and now he's kind of hopeless. I have haste on my character so I can attack again, but there's some fun options we do have. Like we can go with a Slashing Flourish and hit one target since I have advantage on that one, and I'll attack this target here, potentially taking out both of them. I'll roll the free crit on this here. Boom. That did take out both of them, and we got the fire damage applied from our gloves too, which is kind of funny. I think that's an interaction just because it is a mod there. But Slashing Flourish is a really good option because that actually gives us many hits, many ways to hit the enemy. I guess you could also potentially take like the Sharpshooter into Crossbow Expert feats, because then you could do close range Slashing Flourishes and hit multiple people. But we have 2 types of Slashing Flourishes, and we like to use those up as much as possible because that's 2 enemies hit per 1 attack action there. So boom, got Reverberation off on one of them, and then we have Action Surge there to do it all over again. So yeah, we'll just do another Slashing Flourish, and that took out both of them. Perfect. And this target here I want down, so then I don't have any Bardic Inspiration. I would have attacked it twice. So we can just do a normal attack there. I don't have a bonus action. I guess I could shoot it with the shotgun, but we'll do a hammer attack there. So boom, and there you go. And having the Lithan ability Charm there actually kind of makes sense because you charm people. We just cut the offhand attack off. That was sweet. My dirge just said, "Behold the dance of death," and I think that's a perfectly appropriate way to put it. We can use the glyph of warding sleep, which is kind of a funny effect there. So like a sleep bomb, so you can knock them to sleep, which is perfect. So now we got 3 targets that are asleep. And then we can go up. I wish I had a Slashing Flourish to give, but we just go with a shotgun and shoot them while they're sleeping. Kind of cruel, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. I want this. I'll leave that one asleep, and we'll attack this one. We get advantage on the attack. I guess I could have done a sneak attack on that target there, but I have a bonus action here. Don't really have much to do, so I'll use a Vicious Mockery on them. Perfect. And now the ultimate way to take out an enemy. There we go. Vicious Mockery all the way. So there it is. That is the Harley Quinn build in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I hope you have a great day. We'll catch you all in the next video.